old, does it? It never gets old. Hey, boy, it's 9:30, so it's time to go behind the hedges. I'm Mitch. This guy over here beside me is Mr. Ducati, and down below here we have a returning. You're less than a visitor.
You might as well just call him a contributor at this point.
I mean, at this point, he's I mean, if you feed a stray, it just after a while, it's just yours, right? So I don't. Hey, listen. Before we get too deep into this, we got a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. Number one, if you are watching this video right now and you like what you see, tell a friend. Share this video if you like what you see, or if you don't like what you see, you can come on and tell us about it. We got the invite link here. We'll go ahead and put that up.
Put that down now.
Yeah, hold on just one second, boys. Put that up there. If you want to come on here and run your mouth with us, that goes in your browser. Just type that in your browser. Come on, you can do it too. And sometimes when you come on here and run your mouth, this is what happens.
So Ducati, Mitch, I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna give you one of the hottest takes, and I'm gonna see what y'all think about this. And if it ends the show, it ends the show. What would you say if Arik Gilbert comes to Georgia?
It ain't happening. Get out. I don't want to hear it. It's done. It's dead. He's going back to LSU. That's the only school he can make grades for. And at this point, would you want him, Robert?
Yes, I would. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why. Here's my take.
It's so hot. It's scorching hot.
Arik Gilbert his grades will get better. He'll be eligible, and he's going to come to Georgia as a receiver, and he will light it the hell up.
I mean, there you go. That was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So sometimes people come on and run their mouths, and they get laughed at, right? And I don't know. We were saying in the pregame there, Robert. I believe I remember you calling Darion Kendrick's name as well.
Believe he did.
Yeah. So just to recap for those who didn't catch that show, go back and watch. It's the Alabama preview. That was a real good one.
That was a good one. That was really good.
But we got down to the question of here's Georgia sitting at 83 scholarships. They got 85, and they got 2 slots to fill. And I was coming from the angle of I don't want to. It's impossible to pick 2 specific names, but you could pick position groups. What position would you like to see Georgia go after? And we were hamming it out. Defensive back, offensive lineman, whatever. And Robert just comes flat out and says, I would like to take Darion Kendrick and Arik Gilbert. And we were like, oh, wow, dude, you can't just say names like that. And the dude did say names like that. And good God almighty, happy June 1st, everybody. We got some big news today as a Georgia fan. So who wants to spill it, man? Who wants to tell us the timeline?
Hold on. I got to adjust to being wrong because it ain't ever happened before.
You thought you were wrong that one time, but it turned out to be a mistake.
Y'all saw it here first. History was made. Ducati was wrong about a call on a Georgia-related topic. We got to give it to the man who made the Nostradamus behind the hedges. Go ahead, Mr. Reynolds.
I mean, Robert, we should definitely plug your show while we have an opportunity. When is your next Damn Good Dogcast? Are you doing anything Friday?
Friday, I'm not entirely sure. I know Thursday I've got Jake Crane from the J-Boy Show coming on, and we'll be obviously talking about today, not only from a Georgia standpoint, but really around the SEC, NCAA, really. Just talking about, obviously, the dead period being over and some takeaways from the first day, and really just talking about, welcome back to real football. It seems like it's been forever. It really has. But I'm expecting it to be a really good show. Jake's always informative. If you ever watch a show,
who does Is he a Dogs fan, or is he? Does he
I think he's at Auburn. If I'm not mistaken, he may be Auburn. I know he covers a lot, just around the SEC as well. But no, really good, informative show. So I expect it to be a real good show.
Okay, I'll get Ducati to fill me in on that. Give me the highlights on that one. I don't necessarily patronize them Barners. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm sure he's good. I got friends who are incarcerated at Auburn University, and so we'll leave it alone. But anyhow, the news did hit today. I woke up to the text message from Mr. Ducati this morning about 7:30. He sent me a message, said he was tapping his foot anxiously, awaiting this big news. And so I got on with my day, and early in the morning, I'm thinking, all right, Matt, yeah, sure, it's still early though. Well, noon rolls around. All right, I tune into Brandon Adams' show. I go on my lunch break. I'm listening to Brandon Adams, and still no news, and then about I don't know, when was it? It was about just before 4 o'clock. Well,
Right,
Robert,
before 4.
you sent me the message about the picture from Gilbert's was it his Twitter account?
No, Instagram.
It was an Instagram account.
Yeah,
a picture, and then very cryptically said, that ain't the way to the airport or whatever. And I was like, what? So I started thinking, I was like, oh wait, this is a eastbound road sign here coming out of Atlanta, right? And sure enough, he was headed east. Pictures posted an hour ago. It's an hour and 45-ish minutes to Athens, and and I said, well, if this was posted an hour ago, we should be hearing something within the hour. This is like 3:15. It's like 3:15. That we should be hearing something within the hour. Sure enough, about 4 o'clock, I get a message from Ducati, and the message says, "We got Kendrick." Right? And I'm like, oh, snap. Oh, okay. Hello. And then within less than 10 minutes, I get the other message that, what about, look at it. Hey, Preston, thanks for showing up to the show, buddy. It looks like you needed to be here. Yeah. So, a few minutes go by and I get I see the other news too, that, we got Gilbert also. So, both predictions, came true. Anyway, we are we're happy. We're happy as dog fans, right? So so what is there? So what are we going to do with this? We've opened up our Christmas presents. It's Christmas morning. What are we going to do with these toys?
Well, you definitely going to put them into play. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Now here we've talked about before we get into Gilbert, because he seems to be we can speculate and play a lot with him. But let me just point something out to you boys. We have 5 defensive back positions, counting the star, right? Going into the season, we were like, man, we got a lot of talent, no experience. We just got to find 5 names. Okay. Well, here we found a name, Tyke Smith. Okay. And projected as like the best safety returning in college football, right? He's probably going to be our star player. We have Lewis Seen, who is a legitimate murderer. He's a serial murderer, right? And if you don't believe me, ask Kyle Pitts.
Yes, sir.
And you got now Darion Kendrick. So there's 3 of your questions answered. Now you got 2 question marks to fill, and look at the roster of names that you can put into those empty slots. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Kimber, Keely Ringo, Amir Speed, just the
Brini.
Latavius Brini. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, dude. Nyland Green. I mean, we're not hurting.
Von Bullard's a dog too. Don't forget. I mean, I don't see him cracking it, but kid's a baller. He's a dog.
Brandon Turnage. You know what I mean? I mean, I hate to gloss over him. I mean, we picked him up, and people are like, yeah, whenever, But no, dude, that is a legitimate ball player. Mm-hmm. So we have dudes to slide in there, and suddenly that position group doesn't seem to be as problematic as it once was.
About how much to the good do you think the needle moves with the addition of Kendrick?
I think it's huge, personally. I mean, because
I think so too. I think so too.
Well,
do you think he'll start?
Yes. Hell yeah.
Do you think he'll have an immediate impact?
Yes.
Given that it is against Clemson, I think that it can only can only be immediate impact. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is like even without Kendrick, even with a depleted secondary, we probably coast through every game this season with the exception of Clemson. But if you're going to attack Clemson, what better way to do it than with one of their own dudes? Now, let me add you something here. I went back today at work and I watched the video, the highlights. You know, it wasn't too long ago that we were talking about potentially having Jamie Newman as a quarterback, right? And he had a really good season at Wake Forest. He played through his schedule and pretty much obliterated everybody on his schedule with the exception of Clemson. Go back and watch the game, Jamie Newman versus Clemson. Dude, it's just Darion Kendrick abusing Wake Forest over and over and over. The kid played, you know, lights out against them. And so here is a guy that we were high on, Newman. Here is a guy that dominated a guy we were high on. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now we're asking him to do that against his former team. So
now the crybabies from Clemson are saying good riddance. We didn't need him. He weren't no good.
Sure.
Because he got torched by Ohio State. And apparently, you know, I guess all the Clemson fans have front row seats at Clemson practices. And they say, well, he can't cover Justin Ross. So because of those two reasons, y'all can have it. Now,
okay,
how much of that is just them having a collective sore spot on their rear end?
I mean, obviously it's a sore spot. Look, we lose guys from time to time, right?
But may I say one other thing? Digging deeper into Kendrick's story, because I was kind of like about him too, but digging deeper into his story and doing my due diligence, the guy was putting up with some real stuff with his son.
Hold on.
God dang. Who the hell let this in?
I mean, some talk about.
There's no taters allowed, except this one. Mikey, how the hell are you, brother?
Doing good, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Not too bad. Mikey, do you have any earphones?
Yes.
Well, why don't you grab those?
Give me a couple minutes, so let me get back and give me 1 second.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
What I was going to say is maybe some of that play they're passing off as poor could have been him distracted by the fact that his son was in the hospital the majority of the year. And he said it. He was like, I just went all in on that. I didn't talk to the coaches, didn't feel like I needed to, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
Fell asleep with a gun in his lap. Okay, now we're getting into some territory that's kind of icky, but I just feel like dude went through some shit, handled it the best way he knew how. It didn't jive with Dabo. They kicked him off the team, and here we are. I'm a little more receptive to taking him than I was, and I'm hoping that he won't ever say it. You won't get him to admit anything. I'm hoping that he goes into that Clemson game with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
That'd be nice.
Not enough where he starts to commit targeting and shit like that, but enough where he's out there to say, "Nah, y'all did me dirty, and I'm fitting to do something back." Motivation.
Well, we're about to hear from King Tater himself. He's I think Mikey's going to come back on here and probably give us some sort of perspective. Take this with a grain of salt. Okay. All right, Mikey, what have you got for us?
Hang on.
Jesus.
I tell you
Here
what,
we go.
good God Almighty.
What?
All right, you're here. You're here. You're on live with the ham and eggers.
Hey, look. I mean, some of us can win national championships. That's the. No.
Right, some of us can remove you from a stream.
Wait a minute. I'm waiting for the obligatory. He's got to say it. You don't get points if you don't say 1980.
No. It's not that. I'm not going to come in and say good riddance on Darion Kendrick. I think he was a great ball player.
Talk. Yeah, real talk. What are your thoughts on what he was for Clemson, and what do you think he might actually be able to do at Georgia? Your thoughts as a Clemson fan?
Honestly, I wish him nothing but the best. He had a multitude of problems come up over this past year, and had to deal with that, and maybe not some of the best decision making in the world as a 20-something-year-old kid. We can all relate to that. And yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Hey,
I made excellent decisions.
that's right. That's right. I made it to 38, if that means anything.
So
no, I don't have a problem with Kendrick. I wish that he could have. Yeah, I wish he could have panned out as receiver, honestly, to start with, and then that didn't happen. But I wish him nothing but the best, and I have like no ill will towards him or anything like that. But then again, I may be the most diplomatic person when it comes to things like that. Like,
well, let me ask you something. What does he mean? What did he mean to Clemson defensively? How did you view him as a player?
Not as highly after the Ohio State game last year as I did before then.
I keep hearing about that, and I watched it. Yeah, you got a point. But my question stands: was he all there in the brain, knowing he had all that personal stuff to deal with? Could it have been?
That's a very, very valid question, and a solid point. And I don't know the answer to that, and hopefully we'll find out this year. Other than Kelly Bryant, I have no ill will towards anyone that's ever left the program. So
there's some tea. Let's all settle down for a nice cup of tea here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When someone takes your ball from you and you're not willing to fight to get your ball back, you're just going to go somewhere else, and then good riddance.
Fair enough. I think we Georgia fans can speak on that somewhat, but I'm not going to, because there was at least one Fields sibling that could get us somewhere in a sport, and that was his sister, who showed out against Florida.
Oh, didn't she though?
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, shut Florida out and was like, "We're gonna go on to the next level. Y'all go back to the bog.
Crawl back into your water hole, you stinking lizards."
But yeah. I mean, I can understand what Mikey's saying, that kind of thing. Feel like that's what. Well, Justin Fields never really had the ball, and I don't want to get off on Justin Fields. That horse is dead. But I understand what you're saying. How you can develop certain feelings.
Looking at Darian's situation, though, from what we're hearing, right? The kid situation, that you have to take that seriously, right? And he did the right thing. However, I think he could have communicated with the coaching staff. I think that's the right move. Obviously, in the heat of the moment, things can happen. But, when it comes to the situation with your kid, that's something you got to communicate. I'm not knocking the kid. Don't get me wrong. Don't misinterpret it that way. But, that's something that, that's a big deal, and you have to communicate it accordingly. But the gun situation, I don't really know. I think that shit's getting dropped anyway. But, you could question a little bit of the character there, especially if he has a son or whatever the case. But, ultimately, you just have to take his situation and kind of, he's a kid with two kids, right? Is it 2 kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you look at Clemson, and it's hard to see a kid get kicked off of Clemson or dismissed from the team without questioning it, right? Considering Dabo's culture there.
Yeah.
So, immediately you're like, what's going on with this guy? Do we really want him? But I think as the time went along, you start to hear the story. Obviously, you just have to kind of take it at face value. You start to see that, the charge is starting to get dropped, and then you start to hear about the kid situation. Like I said, ultimately, the kid needed to communicate with Dabo and the staff. I think that would have made it a little bit easier. Mikey, you can probably imagine the same thing here. But, ultimately, they kicked him off the team. Obviously looking at his situation, he wants to do the best thing for his family. And, I think you go to Bama or Georgia to stay relevant in regards to chasing the national title. He's already won one with Clemson. So, obviously I think he wanted to go somewhere where he can stay close to home, still be relevant in regards to chasing a national title. And, the rest is history, in my opinion. How much of an impact he has, from what we saw last year with Clemson. You look at the Ohio State game, and sure, he got torched, and Olave and company did their work. But for the most part, I felt like he did fairly well last year.
He definitely was. You're not going to say he was the best defensive back by any stretch of imagination, but I mean and look, I'm not going to be one of these ACC apologists either. That he had a massively skilled batch of quarterbacks that he had to face at the same time either. So, but no, I have no ill will towards the kid. I think there's kind of been a running thing over the past few years that any sort of legal trouble for the Clemson players results in them no longer being a Clemson player. And
I think you start to see that around the NCAA a little bit more.
Yeah. Because Auburn hasn't been able to pick up a misdemeanor / felon quarterback lately.
Hey. Oh, that's Tiger on Tiger violence, folks. That's Tiger on Tiger violence.
I am here for it.
We got a lake, guys. That's
the difference, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, anytime anybody wants to take shots at Auburn, I'll sip my beverage. But no, I mean, there's something to be said about that, Mikey. It's like when you have recruited to a standard of excellence and you have your program at a standard of excellence, that you can say, we don't have time for shenanigans. I mean, as soon as shenanigans happen, you just eliminate the shenanigans. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
One day we'll have a real studio.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I'm being serious, and I think that I think Georgia's getting to that point if they're not already there. I mean, we have guys that for whatever reason they have let's just call names like Dwan Mathis, Matt Landers, like the Trey Blunt, these guys like this, and they decide that Georgia's not the solution for them. Tyreek Stevenson, they're Georgia's not the answer. They have a different solution for them or whatever, and those guys just go. I won't say that those guys necessarily getting into trouble. I mean, I'm not going to call Brenton Cox's name out loud on this broadcast, but I will. And I hope that he is having a very nice time in sunny Gainesville, Florida. Anyhow, no, but I mean, it's like, do you think that Nick Saban's going to put up with that kind of mess? No, he's like the old Bill Cosby joke. I made you. I'll make another one looks just like you. You know what I mean? I'll kill you.
Oh, yeah. There's probably 2-3 other guys waiting in the wings who don't have any drama. You got
right.
You can go now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So hopefully his head's in the right place and he's settled down and just wants to come play ball. I do know he made it clear. He did an interview, I want to say yesterday or the day before. He says he's going to graduate. He's all about the grades right now. He's looking for the long game.
Good.
So I hope that is all true, and I'm happy to have Mr. Kendrick on board. Mr. Kendrick, I know you were watching. Welcome aboard. But remember,
all right. What did Tate? In the words of the great philosopher Tate Martell, don't miss twice.
Don't do it.
So, hey, Robert, can I share with the people your last private message to me, because I thought it was classic. Do you mind?
I don't care, man. Go for it.
Oh, dude, Robert said he said sorry guys, had to run. My son's turtle had a hole in it. So we had to fix it. Yeah,
it's a big deal, man. That's a big deal.
You ain't gotta explain to me at all. If a turtle springs a leak, bro, you gotta go handle that.
Yeah, that turtle is everything, man. I can't be mad at it though.
So we
Look, I just spent 20 minutes looking for a silver My Little Pony hoof.
Yeah,
and the world was going to stop spinning if I didn't find it. So that's...
Bro, let me tell you something.
My living room got repainted today in urine.
Nice.
That's
I
think we all have these kid stories, don't we?
Color choice. I just know that I was 20 minutes late for work today because of this.
Pastel yellow.
This is why I was late for work today. This is a Burger King toy.
You know what, though, man? It's those things right there, though, that just mean the world to a kid.
Oh, for sure, no doubt, no doubt. Okay, so listen, we've hammered on Kendrick a bit, and we've even had Mikey come on here. I don't know any LSU folks who are going to come on here and hammer on Gilbert with us, but we do have an obligation to say something about Gilbert. Who is he, and who will he be for Georgia?
A matchup nightmare.
I will check that box. Check that box.
No, well, hear me out though. The reason why I say that is this: he's going to come as a receiver. I called it. He's going to be a receiver. There's no need for him to be a tight end. He's already dropped to about 240 roughly. It means he's make that change for a receiver, big-bodied receiver. But don't underestimate the athleticism. Coming out of high school, the kid could run like a receiver at 260, and it's just insane how athletic this kid is.
So picture this. Go ahead, and then I got a picture.
But so you look at the matchup right there. Obviously, this, in my opinion, is huge because of the loss of Pickens right now, right? Mm-hmm. You look at the receiver position, and sure, there's a lot of depth there. There really is, and there's a lot of good production that can be there. But you solidify the gap. I ain't gonna say completely fill it because Pickens is Pickens, but you pretty much filled it in with almost a clone of Pickens, but he's taller. He's about the same speed as Pickens. He's going to get your 50-50 balls like Pickens. And just give him the ball and watch what he can do after it. And that's why it's going to be a problem because you've got a 6'6", 240 on the outside. And right in the middle, you got 6'8", 260. Or 280. Cole Kublik had said 280 during the spring game.
When he came, picture this. You could possibly have 6'6", 250 in the X, 6'8", 270. Right end. Yeah. Jermaine Burton, James Cook in the backfield, and JT Daniels dialing it up.
Arian Smith.
What are you going to do? Who are you going to cover?
You got to look at it this way. You got five DBs, and your 5 DBs have got to cover those 5 guys. Let's just be hypothetical here. You've got, on the outside against Clemson, right? Clemson's secondary is not bad. The Ohio State game, in my opinion, was a fluke for them. I think Clemson is going to be ready to go. However, your front 7, Mikey, is what I'm scared about. If I'm Matt Luke, I'm losing sleep over that shit. I really am because that front 7 is insane. Moving to the secondary, though. Regardless of your secondary, it's going to be difficult to match up with that size. And the speed. And I'm not saying that they can't do it because Clemson will do it, but just how effectively. Mm-hmm. When you have 10-10 speed like Arian Smith, you're going to put a lot of strain on the safeties. You really are. Because we saw what happened in Cincinnati. Arian Smith just blew past a kid while he was sitting still.
No.
But like I said, Clemson and Venables. Venables is one of the best defensive coordinators and defensive minds in the game. He's going to be ready for it. It's just a matter of, when you add a Reed Gilbert to the fold, right, without Pickens, Georgia has that kind of ability still, with the addition of Eric Gilbert to hit all the different parts of the field, outside, red zone, which we kind of had our struggles last year with it. The red zone, you put Darnell Washington and Eric Gilbert in the red zone and get two DBs to try to guard them one-on-one, it's impossible. It's just impossible. So the opportunities are there. You can hit any type of the offense. It's just about execution now. And obviously this offseason, we're about to find out come September 4th if the guys were ready to go and if they can execute.
Yeah, well, we won't know if they're ready to go until then, but we do know that there isn't much more that you can do to get ready to go, as we talked about last week. I mean, the dogs are doing a lot of stuff, on their own time, so to speak. And so we like to see that. Be nice to see how, Gilbert and a couple others sort of, matriculate along with those team building exercises that JT's doing out in California. Anything to add about Gilbert, Mikey?
He's big. He's fast. I really don't know that much about him. I mean, I remember when he was coming out of high school a couple years ago. He was.
What was it that Preston said? Leonard Pope 6.0.
6.0, yeah.
Leonard Pope
Leonard,
6.0.
yeah, I mean Leonard Pope. What was the guy from Charleston County?
Marquise Elmore.
Yeah, Marquise. Yeah, I mean,
Yes, Mudcat. Yeah, that's an old name. Y'all remember that name? That's you gotta dig deep in your pockets to pull that name out.
yeah. I mean, he's got that size. I think he's got a little bit more speed than those guys did. But yeah, he's. My question is, how's Georgia's left tackle looking?
That's the main question right there. Mike,
hold up.
you hit it right on the head, man. You know, Mitch Ducati, obviously huge day for us, but you know, and really our two biggest concerns, Mikey, were coming prior to today. Was DB because of the inexperience, not the talent, but the inexperience, and the wide receiver and how to replace Pickens and how to kind of mitigate his loss. So obviously adding Kendrick, adding Arik Gilbert, obviously that shored that up in my opinion, but that still doesn't, it still doesn't fix the O-line. Now, the thing about the O-line, Mitch, I know you had mentioned, you were thinking about maybe trying to get one in the portal that episode.
Sure.
The talent is there. It's just a matter of which starting five combination are we going with against Clemson. After Clemson, our schedule should be one really that we can kind of test our offensive line and move guys around, put them in their natural spots. Clemson's D-line, their front seven specifically, is so good. It's better than Georgia's. And you have to put the most experienced guys out there. So it wouldn't put it past me to put Sawyer at left tackle just for the Clemson game and then move guys around starting with UAB. I think that's what you have to do because of the stakes of the game on September 4th and just how damn good Clemson's defensive front seven are. They really are.
Let me transition here. Just hold on a second. Clemson's defensive front might be better than Georgia's. But, here's the thing. This is a historically good Georgia defensive front. This is not garbage we're not talking about chopped liver here. We're talking about, when you talk about Georgia and Clemson's defensive fronts, you're probably talking about the two best defensive fronts in all of college football.
Clemson's is just a tad bit better, though.
Maybe so. But here's the thing. So Mikey asked, of course, how's your left tackle looking? Well, did Clemson not just lose 3 or 4 offensive linemen to the draft?
No, we did. Yeah.
Okay. So how's Clemson's left tackle looking? Well, that's what I want to know.
Mitch, I'm going to defend Mikey here and hear me out on this.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Both defensive fronts are great. I'm not going to say that right there, that they're both great. But the one thing that Georgia doesn't have right now is you have Adam Anderson, you have Trayvon Walker. We've got those guys. But in my opinion, I would take Miles Murphy. I would take Brzee. I would take KJ Henry. Now, give me Jordan Davis. I need Jordan Davis. Dude's a fucking stud. But give me Miles Murphy or KJ Henry, and you add that with Jordan Davis, that is the unstoppable force right there. I think Brzee and Miles Murphy are going to have a damn field day against our offensive front. I think they're going to cause problems. And the thing about it is, you have Brzee, Miles Murphy, KJ Henry, all those guys. They're elite pass rushers. They're going to make our tackles. They're going to make our guards miss, and they're going to hit JT Daniels. However, I expect a little bit of the same thing with DJ. And Mikey, you hear me out on this. The speed of Adam Anderson and the speed of Nolan Smith, really, I think is going to be a problem for DJ. Now, DJ is very mobile. He's a lot more mobile than JT, in my opinion. And I think that's a fact, really. It's not even an opinion. But if you rush the edge with the bull rush that Jordan Davis can provide, I think you collapse the pocket in on him. I think, that's the key for this game is who can get the quarterback rattled and get to the quarterback the most. Because this game is going to be won in the trenches. There's no question about it.
Well, I'm going to throw something out here that this is just kind of my thought, and my battery's about to die, so you might lose me. So anyway, yeah, I know, ill prepared. How much of a difference does the possibility of having Justin Ross playing in the slot in the Hunter Renfrow position during the game, and having someone as ball control, big bodied and movable as he is over the in the flat, or on the drag route or something like that, in as the quick check down dump off receiver, like how much does having that level of player, and that's which we don't know how he's going to be post surgery and all that stuff anyway, but still, that's the most recent thing I'm hearing is that Justin Ross playing in the slot. That's a heck of a slot receiver to have, all things considered. So
if you
does that put Ladson as your outside, Mikey?
Yeah, Ladson's going to be on the outside. And crap, I can't think of the other guy's name. I'm horrible. You guys
Ladson's a baller that goes unnoticed because of Ross. Ladson's really damn good too.
Yeah, well, you guys are throwing out names. I'm like, does that guy play for Clemson?
Oh, there he goes. All right. Well,
we'll never know, will we?
Question. No, I can still answer. I think what he's trying to get out there, he's basically, how are we going to deal with it? And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we can deal with it. I don't know how much it's going to take to deal with it, but I know what we're going to use. And that's probably Tyke Smith, our new star. And he's going to be integral in shutting down that slot. And Tyke is projected to be like the #1 returning safety in college football. So I don't know what it'll take, but I know what we're going to use. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to make this call right here. And Tyke is the most important position at the star. I think for Clemson, though, the most important position and who's going to have to make the biggest step up and be the X factor in the game, Lewis Cine. Because Lewis Cine, you can look at Chris Smith as well, but I think Lewis Cine is the better player. Which one of those, is it going to be Chris? Is it going to be Lewis that makes that kind of ritual account move and take control of the defense?
I think it's going to be Lewis.
I think it has to be. I think it has to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is I no longer look at Lewis Cine the same way I looked at Jake Fromm saying, "Oh God, please don't screw this up." I don't look at Lewis Cine like that. I look at Lewis Cine and say, "We're in good hands." I've already signed off on him. You know what I mean?
The one thing about Lewis Cine, though, when watching the tape, and I think having a full offseason is going to help this. I hope, because if not, Clemson's going to tear us up on this. Let's just be honest here. He's really aggressive, really aggressive, and being that aggressive leads to biting down too much and letting fast guys get behind you. We saw what can happen with that, and that's another thing with Tyke. I love Tyke in coverage. He's great with tackling, and he's a good run supporter. The one thing about it, though, is you have to make sure that you play sound football, and against Clemson, you have to be precise with every single play. Because they just have the guys that can make you pay, really. You know what I mean? DJ can throw the ball 60 yards like he's standing flat-footed almost. And sure enough, if Justin Ross is what we're expecting him to come out to be, it's 6 points. If Lewis Cine is not careful and he gets over aggressive, or Kendrick is getting over aggressive, right? I think if you're not careful, it can be a long night. I think the off season, we're going to be fine. There's going to be hiccups too. There's going to be hiccups. So if you're a Georgia fan and you're listening, keep that in mind. Don't get super pissed off because it's so easy to do. You're going to have hiccups. It's Clemson. They're a national title contending team. You're going to have problems.
Sure.
I think they have problems. I think we'll give them some fits too. It's just that's what a national title style game is.
I think, I can't speak for you, but I feel like saying Clemson's front seven is unequivocally better. Some of that might be subconsciously giving Clemson credit for what they've done and their reputation. I think this game is going to be a coming out party for our front seven to establish themselves as the best in the business.
Yeah. Mikey just texted, said battery died, but he enjoyed it. So, hey, I think we've said everything we needed to say tonight, Matt.
Who will make the bigger splash then right out of the gate? Gilbert or Kendrick?
I think Gilbert.
Okay.
I think that both of them will make splashes though, and I think that both of them will be welcome additions to the team. But I think Gilbert's going to be that guy. He's going to, like somebody said, when you're looking for an X receiver, that's your alpha dog receiver, okay? And you want a guy who can go and fight aggressively for the ball. You know what I'm saying? Go get the ball. And sometimes you have to do that in traffic and in tough situations. That's why they call it 50-50, because sometimes you don't make it. But if you have to put somebody into the fray, why not put Gilbert? He's certainly got the physical gifts to handle it. And the guy clearly wants to catch passes. Like, that is his thing, right? He wants to catch the ball. Go back and listen to some of the Dog Nation Daily stuff from earlier. Talking about old interviews with him where he was like, what do you see as a difference between, because he was interested in Clemson at one time too. What do you see as the difference between Clemson and Georgia to a Reed Gilbert? And he says, I think they're very similar in a lot of ways. He goes, I just think that Clemson throws the ball a little more. And that was his perspective at the time that he was being asked that question, And so ultimately he chose LSU because of what had just happened at LSU. And when it gets there, of course, it's past. That lightning struck, they caught it in a bottle, and then it was gone. All right. And then he sort of trickles in and goes, wait a second, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Sees Kyle Pitts making a bunch of plays, sees Tony and sees Dan Mullen have this offensive flurry down in Florida. I'm going to go check that out. And guess what? It's gone too.
Yeah, Emory Jones he's no Trask at all.
Sure.
No Trask.
And so now Gilbert wants to catch passes. He wants to catch passes. And so what better place to do that than close to home at a contender?
Hour away.
Georgia's the answer. You know what I mean? So, So he's
big smile on Mama's face in that picture today.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, think about it. I think in that interview, if I'm not mistaken, she was talking about she dropped him off on campus and literally drove an hour straight to work.
Mm-hmm.
As a parent, guys, that's ideal. If I'm sending my kid to college, that's
there's
ideal.
Nothing ideal about driving to Baton Rouge from Atlanta.
No,
let's be honest. Baton Rouge ain't the best place to live either, though. I know some people down there, man. Hell no.
Nah, I'm good. I'm still dirty from my trip to Baton Rouge. I can't get it off.
You just burn those shoes, brother.
Can't get it off. It sticks with you.
So
All right, I think we covered this. This is a good day for UGA. I'm
excited. I'm honestly excited.
I'm telling you right now, guys, today's just the first day of all the visits. Before, I mean, there were so many guys, on campus today, and I kind of see this coming though, right? With all those guys on campus and taking their visits, obviously the camps, you're going to see guys get offered. You're going to see this right here, multiple classes, years out. So
yeah,
and it's only going to get more intense.
Maybe next week we should start taking a look into the future just a little bit. Let's see what 2022, 23, and so forth, what they're starting to look like, especially in light of the names that have been on campus. And in case you haven't seen that 2022 group is
that's Big Bear's class. But Big Bear was not on campus today. He had flight delays from Texas.
He'll be there. I mean, he's there. He's there.
But if you're worried about there's this scuttlebutt about, hey, be worried about Big Bear because he's in Texas and he's out there and they're not going to let up. Listen, Deion Bowie has said, yeah, Big Bear's the leader. He is our leader.
For now, I think he's going to be that vocal leader that you need, kind of similar to what Brock was last year. Mm-hmm. Not saying a gunner can't, but I think Bear's more your vocal leader. It's more so on defense, if anything. But, as long as Georgia's got that solid vocal leading recruiter, Georgia's going to have an elite class. And honestly, guys, this may be the year that you see Georgia's highest highest ranked recruiting class ever.
2022?
Yeah.
Hear me out. I'm not going to argue with Robert no more because every time I do that, you see what you saw at the beginning.
I say this meaning so far. 2022 class, guys, we've already got 12 commits. We're first and just a little bit of literally slightly above Ohio State. But guys, it's the first day of June. if you know recruiting, it doesn't stop. This is early in the process. But I'm excited to just kind of see what happens with, the 2022 guys. 2022 is going to be, I think, Georgia's highest rated ever at the end of the day, but the 2023 class may beat that.
Damn.
I can't be mad.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not upset about anything today.
All right, listen, boys, I'm going to tie a bow up on this thing, and before we get out of here, I need to remind folks about this. If you ain't subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm gonna have to say it again. Am I going to say it one more time?
Say it again.
Tuesday night. You ain't got nothing else to do. You need to watch the show. Sooner or later, somebody's going to grow some cards and come on the show and get everything they ordered up.
All right, boys. Hey, it's been fun. Let's see, before we get out of here. Oh, look. Hey, woo, 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 woo.
Woo!
You got us a fan in the comments. Hey, thank you, lady.
Groupie. You got a groupie.
Thank you, strange lady.
Ducati's got a groupie.
So, good show, people. Hope everybody had a fun and relaxing weekend, and
like
good
Robert
Memorial
said, this
Day
is
and all
the
that.
beginning, man. It's going
Ducati, enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your dinner, Ducati.
If you put that crow inside of a hot dog bun, it makes a.
Hey, at least we're wearing black to go, so it won't get messy.
Right on. All right, people. We'll see y'all next Tuesday, 9:30, right here. All right, take it easy.